Hi everyone, it's Andrea Del Priori here to talk to you about intersectionality. Intersectionality was a theoretical framework that I used in my dissertation, so I'd just like to give you a brief overview of intersectionality and how it can be relevant in your workplace or in your social relationships and in life in general. So intersectionality states that people identify with different ascribed statuses or categories, such as their race, their gender, their ability status, their religion, their sexual orientation, their class, their ethnicity, and that these categories are layered on top of each other. They cannot be separated. They're not mutually exclusive, so they build on each other, and together the combination of these different statuses has an impact on people's lives. So this was first seen by Harriet Tubman. So Harriet Tubman was faced with extreme sexism and racism, and her work and her lived experiences clearly demonstrate intersectionality. Important underpinnings of intersectionality were produced by Anna Julia Cooper, who was an intellectual, a scholar, an activist, who fought for Black women's rights to education, to keep the money that they earned from work, and much more. And then more recently, Kimberle Crenshaw made some really important strides with intersectionality, specifically in our legal system. Because in our legal system, there is this notion that, for example, with an anti-discrimination lawsuit, a Black woman would have to decide if it was due to her race or if it was due to her gender. So the law, it does not acknowledge the intersection of race and gender, and intersectionality states that race and gender cannot be separated. They work together, they produce a combination that impacts a person's life. Intersectionality also states that social and economic structures do exist that exploit certain groups in very complicated ways so that others may profit. So there's a matrix of domination, and it's a complicated hierarchy where things do change periodically over time, and different groups, different ascribed statuses, races, ethnicities, religions, genders, abilities, sexual orientation, so on and so forth, they have different power dynamics in a very complicated hierarchical system. Social inequality is produced by many factors and platforms of power, including interpersonal, cultural, disciplinary, and structural. And instead of focusing on differences, intersectionality focuses on relationships and how these factors are interconnected. Intersectionality also weighs the influence of political, intellectual, and historical contexts. Intersectionality explains how systems of power such as race and gender are established and maintained in relationships. So that's just a quick taste about intersectionality. If you'd like to hear more, please let me know. I encourage you to do your own digging and research. Think about how this impacts you at work with your coworkers, in meetings, hearing one another's voices, and then in society in general, when you're at the grocery store, when you are out to dinner, when you're out in society just interacting with other human beings. How do you see intersectionality play out? Let me know in the comments, and thank you for listening.